Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and my 9-year-old went out, he had twisted his ankle at school, and about a day passed and he was limping a little bit. I told him he had to man up and go out there and play his baseball game last night, and if it hurt too bad to tell the coaches, but he went out there. This is an interesting thing about kids. He went out there, and once the game was going and he wasn't thinking about the ankle, all of a sudden he wasn't even limping anymore. Lesson learned, folks. All right, breaking news. Russia is working on linking the price of the ruble to gold bullion and other commodities. Security Council, things moving quickly. Don't forget gold, folks. I want you to see something. Do you remember, it was about a year or two ago, Grayscale had done the drop gold campaign. Everybody was going to be dropping gold for Bitcoin. Remember that? Well, listen to this. This is on CNBC this morning. The stock market went down a lot yesterday. So listen to what they said about how gold is just following the NASDAQ.
It's good to see you from
not gold, but how Bitcoin is just following the NASDAQ.
It's good to see you from the Bahamas. We'll talk about the conference in a second, but let's talk about the price of Bitcoin and how correlated. I mean, I don't know if you were able to look at that chart. It's almost a mirror image of the NASDAQ. What's happening here?
Well, it's directly correlated. I mean, they're basically treating it, it's bundled in with the FANG stocks, and it's bundled in with what I would say is high growth tech, Andrew, and it'll be correlated until it isn't. That's just...
Okay, we don't have to watch the whole thing. My point is that from what I heard, I wasn't even paying any attention to it yesterday. I heard the stock market was down like 800 points or something crazy yesterday. And I'm telling you, because I've been to this rodeo before, folks. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm telling you what I'm doing because you can see very clearly this world, the financial world's getting really shaky. As far as crypto goes, I buy XRP and XLM. I bought more this week, and I'll probably be buying more because I believe those are the two that are going to be the biggest part of changing everything. But then I make sure I have physical gold, which I can buy through Glint. And I also make sure that I have plenty of gold. And I bought more gold this morning on my Glint account. Okay. I've been telling you about this. They're one of my sponsors. But the reason I'm doing this is because I can buy it in my Glint account. All right. Then I have this card you see here. It's a debit MasterCard. And I can literally buy anything with gold, or I can choose to use US dollars. So if things really get scary, and they could, I've got that gold on my Glint account, and I just push a button and I can switch back and forth. And this isn't linked to my bank account or anything like that. So the people here in the US, they're not going to shut down my Glint account. That's huge. Okay. That's a big deal. But then the last part of what I'm doing is I make sure I have plenty of cash, because even though we all believe that the fiat US dollar is a pile of garbage now, cash is still king in a horrible thing unless that dollar collapses. It could, but that's like trying to predict the fall of the Roman Empire. You know, I can't. That's not where I'm going to be placing my bets, but because the U.S. probably has some kind of a plan, maybe to put all our debts on the XRP ledger. That'd be a plan, wouldn't it? John Deaton. This is the beauty of decentralized justice. He's retweeting a tweet by Jason Foster. Somebody was talking to Jason Foster, and he says, they're asking him why he got in this. He says, we saw evidence of conflicts that John Deaton and the XRP community were bringing to light and asked the SEC for documents we wouldn't have known to ask without their work to bring attention to the controversy. So the point here, folks, is that you matter. Everybody out there that is putting up things and finding evidence on what went on this Ethereum free pass and all this other stuff and how the SEC was involved, everybody that's doing it, you are contributing, and you are because look, let's think about where we are. because of Jason Foster, he doesn't have a dog in the fight. He doesn't own XRP or Ethereum. This guy just wants honest government, and they can't make him go away. Think about how things have changed because this guy's in the game. They have to. He's the guy that's holding them over the barrel for the list of names and their communications with Bill Hinman. We'll get to more of that in a minute. But John Deaton says, this is the beauty of decentralized justice. Jason Foster and Empower saw the gross conflicts and appearances of impropriety and lack of transparency and acted. He's using the law to uncover potential unlawful conduct. Stuart Alderati was retweeting one of James Phelan's tweets yesterday. He says the SEC should welcome scrutiny of its allegations, particularly unproven allegations. Here. It's time for the SEC to stop fighting over those 68 drafts of Hinman's speech. That's where the speech went back and forth 68 plus times. And then John was referring to how people get frustrated with the delays and all. He says, I know with longer delays than necessary, it's easy to think nothing will change. So why bother? Keep fighting. Never give up. I just got a phone call today by a credible journalist from a major publication, and a story is in the works. At some point, they can't ignore the truth. All right. And then yesterday, that New York City, I don't know what New York City Assembly or New York State Assembly, they passed the bill which banned Bitcoin mining. It's a Bitcoin mining moratorium. Of course, the Chamber of Digital Commerce and Blockchain Association, they were up in arms. This was the end of the world. And Chamber of Digital Commerce tweeted this. They said, it's a shame that New York State majority has passed this bill. Our fight is not over, but now our attention turns to the Senate. And I said, no, it's a shame the SEC sued Ripple after over 8 years of trying to work with the SEC. It's a shame that John Deaton had to sue the SEC on behalf of 66,000 plus XRP holders. But the real shame is that the Digital Chamber of Commerce and Perry-Ann Boring, who runs it, have done zero to help. No brief. They said they're going to do a brief, an amicus brief. No threads, no passionate threads about how we all need to fight together. Nothing. That's the shame. And it wouldn't be a shame if you told the truth and said, oh, we're a Bitcoin and Ethereum industry organization, but you're not. You're telling the world that you are a crypto organization that's fighting for crypto. And Perry-Ann Boring not too long ago said, oh, well, we can't speak on it until we file the brief, but they haven't filed the brief. But the question then becomes, well, okay, Perry-Ann, you can't speak on it until the brief's filed. This is how I know she's stalling. Why aren't you doing these passionate threads that you were doing over this New York State Assembly thing? Why aren't you doing those passionate threads about John Deaton and his representation of 66,000 XRP holders? Why aren't you making these passionate threads, the PR, for Ripple being sued by the SEC? Answer me that. Riddle me that one, Perry-Ann, because I'm not going away. I'm going to keep calling you out until you guys start being honest about what's what. We're going to have to start being honest, or we're just going to keep putting a big spotlight on what you are and what you are not, because it's not right. Okay. And then we had this from the World Economic Forum. A change in the way Bitcoin is coded could almost eliminate its environmental impact. I don't want to get a copyright hit, so I'm not going to play that. But XRP Darren, he called it out right. He said, Larson's warning coming out of the New World Economic Forum. There you go, folks. Now, as I promised, I'm sleeping with this list right now. This is the Empower Jason Foster's list of Freedom of Information Act. And these are the people from the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, okay? These are the people who communicated with Bill Hinman May 2017 to December 2020. We're trying to get the communications, okay? That's his Freedom of Information Act request. I am sleeping with this list. I'm chewing on it like a dog with a bone. I will not let it go. As long as the SEC, as long as we don't have a level playing field, we'll keep going through it. Today, in this video I'm about to show you, I'm going to show you Aya Miyaguchi. She was the executive director of the Ethereum Foundation. Remember, if you remember, she's the one that Laura Shin said accused people in the Ethereum Foundation of embezzlement, and they eventually got rid of her. Okay, same woman. May 16th, 2019. All right, this is her in this video. And at the end, I want you to hear the end, because she's talking about how it's not sustainable to fund the foundation with Ethereum. She says it's also not good for that. This is supposed to be decentralized. And I said the entire U.S. crypto industry is built around a lie, and Gary Gensler continues the lie. Because what they're talking about is how all the funding's coming from the ETH that the Ethereum Foundation holds. And she's like, well, we can't, she's basically saying, well, we can't keep doing this because this is supposed to be decentralized. In other words, I know it's not decentralized, but we got to keep putting on this front and acting like it is. This is the year after the Bill Hinman speech, and he said it was decentralized then.
That's good to hear that you're working on transparency. So may I just come back to the runway question again?
And by the way, they're working on transparency, not actually practicing. They're working on getting to that place.
If you look at the 650K ETH that the foundation holds, and if we assume that that's the main money that the foundation actually has, so it doesn't have enormous amounts in fiat, that's 130 million today. So if you give up 30 million in grants, and that's your main expense, that's a runway of 4 years at today's Ether prices. So do you expect that Ether prices go up, or do you expect that development is done in a very few number of years?
So we do have some fiat amount. If you wanna, there's some information out there. Again, like we are going to give more information soon, but we do have some fiat amount, of course. So the year that you should just mention. But at the same time, again, one of the things we try to do here is we don't think that the only EF providing or supporting the entire ecosystem is not sustainable. And one, it's not sustainable, but it's also not good for that. This is supposed to be decentralized, right?
Right. And you're not, and you know you're not. So, okay, now this is interesting because, again, we're still on that Freedom of Information Act list because Mike Novogratz is on it as a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. So here's what's stuck in my craw here. We know of two organizations or people that had said that they were shorting XRP, and they just happen to be affiliated with Ethereum, right? That is Mike Novogratz, and it's the guys from Multicoin Capital. And remember, don't forget, because it's important, Multicoin Capital, two of their investors are Union Square Ventures or limited partners are Union Square Ventures and Andreessen Horowitz, which are, and let's look at the list because we want to make sure that you understand. That's not the list with the name. Let's go back to her. Hold on a second. I'll get this straight. Let's go back to this one because it's got the company names. Union Square Ventures, okay, and A16Z, which is Andreessen Horowitz. These guys are all over this list of people. These were the guys that were in Andreessen Horowitz literally ran what became the Ethereum Free Pass. They're the ones that put this whole group together, more or less, okay? So these two venture capital firms are investors in limited partners in Multicoin Capital, and they were back in 2018 when Tushar Jain and his partner were bragging about how they're shorting XRP. Okay, so in essence, in these the people that are shorting, you have two entities and one person from the Freedom of Information Act list. And I said it's interesting that both Novogratz and Multicoin Capital talked about XRP being a short in 2018 and also I think in 2017. And then you didn't really hear much of that talk again until early February, in the same month, February 2020, we got this, okay? Oh, first let me show you. This is February 5th, 2020. XRP will have another lackluster year in 2020. Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz recently told a room full of financial advisors. And then here, avoid XRP, says Multicoin, Bitcoin's big rally. February 9th, 2020. And then in the article, it says Kyle Samani and Tushar Jain are the 29-year-old co-founders of Multicoin Capital, $100 million crypto hedge fund backed by Mark Andreessen and Fred Wilson's Union Square Ventures. By shorting some digital currencies like XRP and Zcash and embracing active management, they've outperformed the market. Okay? Right? So, here's what was bothering me about this. What was bothering me is I was like, well, what is it? What was Ripple doing around this time in February of 2020 that would have been cause for what I consider a lot of the guys that are anti-Ripple, people that maybe saw it as competition? What is it that would really catch their attention that would make them want to start some kind of a PR battle and start scaring people away from what Ripple and XRP represent? What would it be? So what I did was I went back into Ripple's thread to see what Ripple had going on at about that time, okay? Which is here. This is Ripple's thread. I think I searched from like December 2019 to into February, mid-February 2020 when these guys were saying these things. So as I scrolled down, nothing jumped out at me until I got to a certain point. This is what we're looking at. And then when I got down to about right here, this is Ripple. We can actually help facilitate the growth of this industry by utilizing our liquidity and our needs and really trying to grow that business in lockstep with Ripple. And that was Waxel Holmes, Alex Holmes. Waxel Holmes is his handle. Chairman and CEO of MoneyGram, discussing MoneyGram's partnership with Ripple on CNN. And here it is from Julia Chatterley. And by the way, this is the same Julia Chatterley who was all about talking about Ripple when MoneyGram had this deal with Ripple and when Ripple was trending with the MoneyGram thing. The second that this SEC case happened, she flipped completely and would not and has not talked about the Jay Clayton stuff, the conflicts of interest, none of this ever since. She knew full well how her viewership had started to really increase covering it. So somebody or something got to her and told her, nope, you're not covering this. And that's the kind of journalist that Julia Chatterley is. Now, but I want to make my point, because that was my question, is what would cause these guys to all of a sudden start coming out, oh, I'm shorting XRP, and start back on that same kind of, because they're making sure, remember, they know they're trying to put all this in the media for a reason, in my opinion. They have to be. So this reminded me of this thread by Stefan Huber. Folks, I think I may finally have it. Now remember, the Freedom of Information Act request is because all these people on that list were communicating with Bill Hinman, and they all worked with him to get the free pass. Not all, but some of them worked with him to get the free pass. And the question also is, did they all know that he was going to sue, that the SEC was going to sue Ripple? I'd love to know the answer to that one. Folks, I think I may finally have it. Challenge my timeline. Obama, Alibaba investigated for irregularities by the SEC. Then Trump wins election. Jay Clayton, former Alibaba advisor, becomes SEC chair. Alibaba files a merger request with the SEC to buy MoneyGram. Clayton brings in Hinman, who handled Alibaba's IPO and was named Dealmaker of the Year with Lei Ming Chen, Alibaba 2014. Clayton and Hinman went to Alibaba to do the MoneyGram deal, but United States National Security Council withdraws authority from the SEC and rejects the MoneyGram Alibaba deal. 3 days later, it's announced that instead of Alibaba, Ripple gets the deal and MoneyGram wins. The SEC, Hinman, and Clayton start working with the Brooklyn Project, Consensus, Quorum, and Ethereum Alliance. Alibaba, JP Morgan, Ethereum Alliance gets back at Ripple with the free pass and regulatory clarity for Ethereum. This could also explain the huge hatred for Ripple. Maybe Ripple was responsible for not using MoneyGram to test Ethereum-based cross-border payments. Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, folks. Link to tweeted this out today. This is from Brad Garlinghouse's interview yesterday. Ripple had a record year last year. 95% of Ripple's customer base is non-US based, non-US payments companies. The demand for Ripple's core products has grown 8 times growth year over year, said Brad Garlinghouse. And those guys extended the $1,000 XRP drop for 24 more hours, folks. So if you're still interested in Ripple Labs equity, now's the time. I'll put a link in the top of the description I'll have a link in the top of the description for Glint, if you're interested in Glint, and also for Link to, if you're interested in $1,000 of XRP. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family to go check out Glint and Link.